Osionigod, Wade Blevins, Dawadon Galiele, Jagedo Kohig, he are Dalagi Nakine, RSU TV, Gigananu Go Gon, Kohig, Galkwo Gine, Jalagi de Lo Quaste. So, welcome. My name is Wade Blevins, and this is Cherokee 4 here at RSU TV. I believe today is our 7th Cherokee lesson. I'm really glad that you're here today. So, kohig squish, yikatante. We've got a lot to do today, okay? So, as you might remember, we are this class is a little bit different than 1, 2, and 3 in that we're talking a little bit more about the why we do what we do, or why a word is the way it is, using a little bit more grammar and a little bit more linguistic talk, just so you'll understand some of the things that you already kind of know, and you'll know why it's said that way, or that kind of thing. So we're going through our, we talked about classifying verbs and how fun that is. Hopefully you're getting a better handle on them. We're going to keep going through classifying verbs, and we've been talking about set B pronoun prefixes. So, which makes you sound really, really super smart, but really it's just talking about the subject. So anyway, so come, idalena, salegi idiwone. Okay? So, as you remember, here is the song that we've been using to learn our classifying verbs for have. So, if you'll notice, though, I have taken out the verb. So I think we've gone through it enough. Hopefully you can predict what's going to go in there. So the first part says, I have a turtle. Let's clean our room. I have a turtle. What do you have? I have a turtle. What do you have? Let's clean our room, right? So I'll give you just a couple seconds to see if you can put the missing words in. There are 2 of them. I have and you have, both having a living item, right? So we have this first word right here. We have doxy, doxy. Of course, it says dogossy, but we know that we pronounce it doxy, right? Doxy, and then a blank. Kanasula, idina gala. Kanasula, room, idina gala. Let's clean it, okay? Then down here, doxy, and then I have. Dousti, you have. Okay, kanasula, idina gala. So what words would we put in the first and second blank? Okay. Hopefully it is agika, agika, because that means I have something that's alive, right? And then the second or the third blank would be jaka, means you have something alive, right? And if you were going to sing it, doxy agika dousti jaka, doxy agika dousti jaka, doxy agika dousti jaka, kana sulidina galai, right? So doxy agika, I have a turtle. Dousti jaka, what do you have? Kanasul idina gala, let's clean our room, right? Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, so the next one, we have unadi, unadi. So I have milk. What do you have? And of course, this time we're going to use I have and you have something that's a liquid. Okay, we talked about you can use it for milk, you can use it for milk, water, alcohol, gravy, soup. So basically anything that can pour, right? Well, not anything, because of course you can pour sugar and salt, but it's not a liquid, right? So it says, Hi'a una de kana sula idina gala una de, and then I have do usti, you have kana sul idina gala, right? So what would you put in those two spots? I have and you have something liquid. I have and you have something liquid. So it would be una de agine do usti jane, right? So hopefully you got that right. Remember, doxy agika, una de agine, okay? And then do usti jane, what do you have that is liquid? And then, of course, una di agine do ustijane, right? So that's how that goes. You know the song, so I won't sing the whole thing to you. Let's go to the next one, okay? Just give you just a little bit to read through it. John tissues tigesa hia. Do you know what this is? Hia gostanist, a baseball bat, right? Gostanist. Kanasul idina galang. Let's clean our room. Kanasul idina galang. Okay, gostanist. And we can't use agika because it's not alive. We can't use agitne because it's not liquid. It's something long and rigid, right? So what is, I have something long and rigid, do usti, you have something long and rigid, right? Kanesu idina gala. Let's clean our room. So I'll give you just a few seconds to see if you can remember the word that should go in those blanks. Okay, gostanist, aguya, do ustijaya. Okay, so aguya, I have something long. Jaya, you have something long. So gostanist aguya, do ustijaya. So we have doxti agika, I have a turtle. Unadi agine, I have milk. And gostanist aguya, right? And then dousti jaya. All right, the next one, rope. Stayid. Okay, ni stayid. I have rope. Kanasul idina gala stayid. I have dousti. You have something flexible. Remember, rope, string, paper, fabric. We even talked about like a wallet goes under this category, which I found surprising, but maybe you didn't. I don't know. So how would you say I have something flexible, right? Something that's flexible. We can't say agika, right? Because that's something alive. We can't say agine, because that's something liquid. We can't say aguya, because that's something long, and rope is long, but aguya is used for something that's long and not bendy, right? So in this case, this is long and it's bendy, okay? So Ni stayed agina agina kana sul idina gala stayed agina do usti jana kana sul idina gala. Let's see if we got that right. Yep, agina and jana. Okay? And then the last classifier that we have, ahan squatles, this is a ball. Kanasulidi nagala, let's clean our room. So I have a ball. What do you have? Squatles. And again, we can't use agina because agina is something that's flexible. We can't use squatles aguilla because aguilla is for something long and rigid. We can't use agine because that's something liquid. And we can't use agika because agika is used for something that's alive. So we have to use the classifier for something that is solid. So squatlesti agiha to usti jaha. Okay, kanasul idina gala. So agiha and jaha. So how did you do? Hopefully you did well. If not, don't stress about it. It's not that big a deal. Go through it over and over and over again until it starts to make sense to you. You know, the more you hear it, the more it just starts to click. So let's see if you can answer these 5. Okay? So the first one says, does somebody have a pencil? Okay, does someone have a pencil? So kilos, digo we Lord, and then have. Okay, the next one, number 2, says ugam, I have soup. I have soup. Ugam, and then I have. And then number 3 says igata anitalaki judajag judajagalud judajagalud disano. Okay, so some Cherokees have tear dresses. For some reason, the word "they're torn" is hard for me to say. So then the number 4 says Mary has a new puppy. Mary has a new puppy. And the last one says, I have a broken plate. Okay, I have a broken plate. So this one's a little more complicated and a little more difficult. So let's tackle number 1. Kilos digo huelod. And then you would use he or she has something long and rigid. Okay? So that's uwaya. Uwaya. Kilos digo huelod uwaya. Does someone have a pencil? Okay? I have, that should be a period, not a question mark, but oh well. We'll live with it, right? So I have soup. So ugam, agi ne, because remember soup is considered a liquid. In Cherokee, we don't eat soup, we drink soup. So, ugam agi ne, I have soup. Okay. Then the next one, some Cherokees have tear dresses. So, igod ani jalaki. Some Cherokees, juda jagalud, torn, di sano dresses. Okay, they have them. Okay, they have them. Do ni na. Do ni na. Igata ani jalagi juda jagalud di sano do ni na. Okay. Mary has a new puppy. Ije gitli ought. That should be ought, not agin, which we will fix here in just a minute. So, ije gitli ought. Uweka meli. Ije gitli ought uweka meli. So Mary has a new puppy. Ije new gitli ought puppy. Uweka has something alive. Meli. Okay. I have a broken plate. Teldo uyoja. Teldo uyoja. Agiha. Agiha. Teldo uyoja agiha. Okay, so we'll go through there. Number one, kilos digohuelod uwaya, right? Someone have a pencil. Ugam agitne, I have soup. Igadane jalagi judajagalud di sano dunina. Okay, notice when I wrote it here, I put do here because, of course, some Cherokees aren't sharing the same tear dress, right? They don't all just have one dress and pass it around. They all have their own dresses, right? So we're talking about more than one dress. So we have to add that D sound to u ni na, right? And it becomes do ni na. Okay, so they have them. Okay, ije gitli at uweka male. Mary has a new puppy. And teldo uyoja agiha. I have a broken plate. Okay, so that one's a little. This one's a little bit more difficult, right? But hopefully you can go through it. This is not the last time that we're going to look at these 5 sentences. So, so look through them, kind of be like, okay, well, I understand why it's the way it is, because we'll probably look at them again, all right? Okay, so let's review set B prefixes. If we have a single subject and a single object. So the prefix I, agi, right? Agi, agiha, right? I have something solid, right? You, ha, you have something solid. Okay, he or she, ha. Okay, he or she has something solid. So those are fairly easy, right? We use them quite a bit, agi, ja, and u. Now it starts to get a little bit boogery, right? The two of us, giniha, we two, o giniha, okay? The two of us, but not you who I'm talking to, so us two over here, right? Giniha and o giniha. So gini is the two of us, meaning you and myself. O gini means the two of us, but I'm talking about somebody, not you. which is confusing. But just think about that O omits or leaves out the person being spoken to. Okay, so anytime you hear that O at the beginning in your prefixes, we know that we are talking about somebody other than who we're speaking directly to. We're talking about a third party, right? So Gini and Ogini both mean we too, but one of them includes the person being spoken to, and one of them omits it. So that's how I remember it as O omits the person being spoken to. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense to you. I know it's really hard to wrap your head around because we don't have those kinds of distinctions in English, right? We just say we. And it can be we too, or we too over here, or all of us, right? And we just say we in English, but in Cherokee, it makes a difference. And then we have igi, all of us, okay, including the person that I'm speaking to. So all of us have it, igi ha, right? And then ogi ha is also all of us, but it omits the person being spoken to. Remember, o omits the person being spoken to. So ogi ha means all of us over here have it, you do not, okay? Then we have the y'alls, right? Sti ha, you two, sti ha, the two of you have it. And eg ha, or eg, all y'all, all of you. Eg ha, all of you have something solid, right? And then the last one, uni, they, okay? Uni ha, they have it, right? Meaning they have one single thing. Okay, let's put it in, let's use to have a liquid, which the root, I wrote the root here for you. Have a liquid, the root is actually hne, okay? And you hear that nasal as you say hne. So if we go down and we look at this kind of chart-looking thing, we have agi hne, I have a liquid. So let's just use a liquid. Let's use water, right? Because that's the most common liquid that exists. So agi hne, I have water. Jahne, you have water. Uhne, he or she has water. Okay? Then we have ginihne, you and I have water. Okay? Oginihne, the two of us have water, but not you. Right? Igihne, we all have water. Ogihne, all of us over here have water, but you don't. Stihne, you two have water. Ijihne, all y'all have water, right? And unihne, they have water. Okay, so you see how that works. And I'll try to keep this this format as we look at more and more verbs. So this is I, you, he, she in the first column, because remember these are singular subjects. We're only talking about one person, I, you, or he, right? Then we start getting into dual first person. So we two and we two, they both mean we two, but one of them omits the person being talked to. Then the third column is first person plural. So all of us and all of us, but not you, right? Then second person plural, you two and all y'all. And then lastly, third person plural, which is they. Okay? So over time, it'll make sense to you. And if you don't learn the difference between, second person dual and first person dual and second person dual, don't worry about it. As long as you know how to say it properly, that's what matters, right? But for those of you that are, kind of inclined that way, now you'll know where all of that fits. All right. So let's look at a word we already know. And of course, as you can see, it doesn't follow that what we just learned, right? Instead of it being agi-ya and ja-ya and u-ya, if you'll notice, the root is ya. So I believe that probably over time it developed this way. Probably a long, long time ago, it wasn't like this. Probably it was agi-ya, okay? But that sounds weird, agi-ya. And over time, as they said it, agi-ya, agua-ya, it became kind of synthesized together, and it became agua-ya, ja-ya, instead of agi-ya, right? Or ja-ya and u-ya. It became ja-ya and u-ya. Gina-ya, o-gina-ya. Iga-ya, o-ga-ya. Sta-ya, ija-ya, una-ya. So it doesn't follow what we just learned about set B verbs, right? And the reason being is the first sound in the root or the stem is a vowel, right? So we can't use these prefixes, because again, it would be agi-ya, ja-ya, u-ya. But see, as you say it faster, it starts to make sense. Agua-ya, ja-ya, u-ya, right? So what Cherokee speakers did is they created a modification to that set to make it sound better, okay? And so this is what they ended up doing. So if you have a vowel stem for a set B verb, agi becomes agua. And I had to do it in phonetics because there's no way to write agua in syllabary. So agua, and it would either be agua, ague, agui, aguo, agua, right? And then j and u. So, and again, if we take ya as our stem, then it becomes aguya, jaya, uwaya, right? So it's very similar, just slightly different, right? And then, instead of being guinea-ya, it'd be guinea-ya, and oginia-ya becomes ogina-ya. So, see how that works? Basically the same, slightly different, okay? And instead of igia-ya, it becomes iga-ya and oga-ya, okay? and stuya, ichuya, and unaya. Okay, so you see how that works. So those are the prefixes. I know, it's a brain drain. Let's look at a word we already know, which is to want something, right? Everybody wants something, right? So want, the stem or the root is aduli, aduli, okay? Aduli. So I want awaduli, okay? Let's go back through. Let's go back and look at our, so if we have aduli, it becomes aguaduli. Depending on the community you come from, some people say awaduli, some people say aguaduli. It's a community thing. Don't let it trip you up, okay? Then it becomes jaduli, and this one is slightly different. It's not uwaduli, it's uduli. That one's, I don't know if you would call it irregular, but it doesn't really follow the paradigm completely. So it becomes uduli, he or she wants, right? I know I ask, you know, if you want to ask somebody, do you want it or do you want something? Jadulis, jadulis, do you want it? Right? Right. Jagistis jaduli, do you want something to eat? Jaditostis jaduli, do you want something to drink? Okay, very, very common terms or phrases that you can use pretty much on a daily basis, right? So awaduli, jaduli, uduli, okay? Ginaduli, o ginaduli, ginaduli, we too want, o ginaduli, the two of us want, but you don't. Igaduli, all of us want. Ogaduli, all of us want, but not you. Staduli, the two of you want. Ijaduli, all of y'all want. And unaduli, they want. Okay? So let's read back through that and let's see how we did. Right? So awaduli, that works. Jaduli, uduli, ginaduli, oginaduli, igaduli, ogaduli, staduli, ijaduli, unaduli. Okay, a lot of times in spoken Cherokee, this unaduli, they just say unduli, unduli. Okay, again, it just depends on your speaker, and I suppose in some ways on your community unduli. So be aware of that. If you hear somebody say unduli, it's the exact same thing as unaduli, they want, okay? So if I were going to say, do the two of you want a ball, okay? Do you two want a ball? Ball being squatlest. Squatlest. So how would you ask, do you two want a ball? Okay, which one of these words would we use? So you would say squatlestis, staduli, squatlestis, staduli. Do you two want a ball? Okay, And then how would you say the two of us want it? The two of us, but not you, want it. Okay? Which one of these words would we use? The two of us, but not you. Okay? Would be ogina dooley, ogin dooley. Okay, ogin dooley. How would you say you want? Just one you. You want. Jaduli. How about they want? Unduli. How about all of you want? All of you want. Ijaduli. Ijaduli. How would you say all of us want? All of us want it. Ikaduli. Ikaduli. I want it. Awaduli. You should know that one by now. I want it. Awaduli. You should use that word all the time. How about the dog wants it? The dog wants it. Geet uduli. Geetly, dog, uduli, wants. Right? So geetly, uduli. So awaduli, jaduli, uduli, ginduli, oginduli, ikaduli, ogaduli, staduli, ichaduli, unduli. Okay, so we have now learned set B prefixes for both stems that start in a consonant and stems that start in a vowel, right? Now let's look at, of course, as we know, the word want is slightly irregular because it's not uwaduli, it's just uduli. So let's look at another word that you might be familiar with, and if you're not, it's a good time to learn it. To forget, okay? So to forget it. And if you look at the stem, it starts with an ah. Ah, keoska. Ah, keoska. Okay, I know it says ah, ge, we, ska, but you say ah, keoska. Ah, keoska. Okay, so would we use the set B consonant prefixes or the set B vowel prefixes? We would use the set B vowel prefixes because the root starts with an ah, a vowel sound, right? So, I'm forgetting ah, wa, keoska, awa, keoska, okay? You are forgetting ja, keoska, ja, keoska, okay? He or she is forgetting uwa, keoska, uwa, keoska, okay? This one, you and I are both forgetting gina keoska, gin keoska. Okay, the two of us, but not you, are forgetting ogin keoska, ogin keoska. Okay, all of us are forgetting iga keoska, Igakeoska. Okay, all of us, but not you, are forgetting. Ogakeoska. Ogakeoska. You two are forgetting. Stakeoska. Stakeoska. Okay. All y'all are forgetting. Ijakeoska. Ijakeoska. And they are forgetting Unakeoska. Unakeoska. All right? So you see how that works, right? Akeoska. And again, depends. Some say and some say ah. In spoken Cherokee, those two vowel sounds are a lot closer together than they are in English. And ah. Awakeoska, awakeoska. You can barely tell the difference, right? Awakeoska, awakeoska. You see, it's hard to hear the difference between ah and in spoken Cherokee. So if you'll notice, there was kind of a switch over from ah and ah to yeah, jakeoska, awakeoska. Probably awa would be closer to how I would say it. Awakeoska, jakeoska. Okay. So that brings us to kind of the end of where we are going today. Let me think of a verb here that we could maybe use that will fit in our paradigm. So let's see. Awaduli. We did that one already. Let's see. Let's use yosi, yosi, to be hungry, right? Yosi, yosi is the root. Yosi is the root. So would we use, and it is a set B verb, so would we use set B consonant endings or set B vowel endings? Yosi. So does yosi start with a vowel or a consonant? It starts with a consonant. So we would use our consonant endings, right? So yosi, I'm hungry. Agi yosi, right? You're hungry. Jayosi. Okay. He or she is hungry. Uyosi. The two of us are hungry. Giniyosi. We're hungry, but not you. Oginiyosi. All of us are hungry. Igiyosi. All of us are hungry, but you aren't. Ogiyosi. You too are hungry. Stiyosi. All of y'all are hungry. Igiyosi. They are hungry. Uniyosi. Uniyosi. Okay? So, when we come back next time, we're going to start looking at set A. We're going to start looking at the set A prefixes, okay? So, and just like with set B, there's a set A set that works if the stem starts with a consonant, and there's a set A that works whenever it starts with a vowel. So we will look at that and we'll look at the difference, but you're well on your way to figuring it out. Don't stress about it. Again, don't get so hung up on the grammatics of it. Just realize that, depending on what you're wanting to say, the beginning of it will change, right? But again, we've gone through a lot of spoken Cherokee before. Now we're just going back through and kind of realizing, oh, this is why we say it this way, or this is what's going on in the word, right? So we're just about out of time today. So from all of us here at Cherokee Nation and RSU TV, I do want to say wadon. Appreciate you being here. Again, don't stress over it. I know it's overwhelming. Usually people feel very overwhelmed whenever they get hit with this right off the bat. But hopefully it's something that you can now attach words that you already know and be like, oh, now I understand why it's the way it is, because, you already know the word, and now we just are understanding why it's the way it is. So, for example, Ogitoda, right? Ogitoda, we already know that. When we learned the Lord's Prayer way back when, Ogitoda galala dehi, right? Ogitoda, Ogi, our, okay? Ogitoda, our Father, right? But of course, we omit the person we're speaking to because we're supposed to, in this, it's a prayer, so we're speaking directly to God. So, of course, God is not his own father, right? So, Okitoda, our Father, but not you, right? He's not your father because you can't be a father to yourself, right? Okitoda. And, or Ikichi, our mother, right? When we're talking about our mother, Ikiji, all of our mother, which is a way that they sometimes referred to as the earth, Ikiji, our mother, Elohi Ikiji, our mother earth, right? Or sometimes our fire, Achil, Kikake Agayelege, Ikiji, right? Our red mother, right? The red fire, and Ikiji means mother to us all, Ikiji. So anyway, now hopefully you understand. You're like, oh, that's why it's like that. So anyway, I want you to go back through the lesson if you need to. Hopefully it's going to make more sense. If not, we've got plenty of time to learn it. So anyway, don't dago honey. Be careful.